The YWCA Metropolitan Chicago was started 140 years ago by 13 women in a living room who knew it was important to serve the needs of the women from that era, just like we do today.
It was the third YW after New York and Boston. And there were a lot of single women moving to Chicago in the industrial age. And they were looking for a place to live. And so the YW started providing housing for women. And then as a result of the housing, they needed training to fill the jobs that were opening up. So that was the early days of empowering women to go out and do their own thing.
The YWCA Metropolitan Chicago focuses on 3 empowerment priorities. They are freedom from violence, access to quality education and training, and economic sustainability. Women come in with a variety of needs, and it's almost a progression to some degree that we need to make sure that they're safe and that they're healthy before we can really think about what else we need to equip them with, whether it's education or economic empowerment.
In all the ways that women have become empowered during the years, the YW has always been on the cutting edge to prepare them, to open up opportunities, to meet with clients, even in the sexual assault arena.
Since the 1960s, the YWCA has been providing sexual assault support services, and unfortunately, we still need to have those services today.
There was a group of women sitting around talking one day, and one of our staff people was in the room, and they were talking about the increase of sexual assault and how it impacts your life, and how nobody wanted to talk about it. And so we started providing that kind of counseling.
The YWCA Metropolitan Chicago is the largest provider of sexual assault support services across the region. We operate the 1-800-RAPE crisis lines throughout the entire metropolitan area, covering about 4 counties, as well as going into schools and making sure that we're providing that much-needed prevention education services as well.
One of the things that surprised me the most, regardless of how much I think an impact we've already had, is the incredibly overwhelming demand for our services, in particular around the sexual violence support services, where the need is so great, and in fact statistics will prove that the need continues to grow.
We know that 1 in 4 women are affected by sexual assault, and we want to make sure that we are there to continue to support women through this because of the trauma that it has and the impact that it has in their ability to provide stability for their lives as well as their family. And so for us, we want to start supporting women where they most need help. On a training front and making sure that women have the skills of the day, we have definitely continued to evolve. So there was a part of our history where we focused on domestic training, we focused on nursing, we focused on other house skills for women, and now we're really targeting underrepresented areas by women. So whether it's utility construction or technology and digital programs, we want to make sure that we're delivering training that's really relevant to the women that we serve, and really it's going to make a difference and an impact in the marketplace that we're in. The other thing that we're focused on is STEAM with our girls, or as we like to call them, our future women, to make sure that they're prepared for the evolving jobs that are available and the technology that's out there, the science that continues to evolve.
Having a competent knowledge around things like computer science, coding, math, even basic fundamental concepts of scientific processes are applicable to every single career that's possible that a woman could be in when she graduates from high school or college. So the Tech Girls program at the YWCA is important because it's exposing very young girls at a very early age to science and technology. And I think that the YWCA provides a real nurturing, comforting, safe environment for young girls to feel confident and secure in front of a computer.
The YWCA Metropolitan Chicago, since our inception, has always been about economic freedom and economic empowerment, financial management, financial empowerment. So we look at it that we can help women either get new skills to get a new job with more money, as well as help them start their own business so they can have the flexibility and the freedom to create opportunities for themselves and their family. And our economic empowerment coaches absolutely help them move that along that path and that journey. And the other thing that we really care a lot about is the wage equality and making sure that women are paid fairly for their work, and that's across all platforms, all job sectors.
Women are half the human capital in the world, yet women earn less, own less, have less ability to create ownership. And if we don't focus on economic empowerment and helping women become self-sustaining and not just sustaining, but continuing to increase their earning power, then we're really missing a key opportunity for women in our community.
When we look at economic empowerment, well, we know that women are only paid 77 cents on the dollar for men, but women of color, that number tremendously decreases. So as we look at opportunities that we have to increase economic empowerment for women, we absolutely have to consider the dimension of gender and race. The YWCA really was a leader as it relates to racial justice in different forms, and they may not have explicitly called it racial justice, but we were integrated in the 30s. We had people of color on our board way ahead of clearly the rest of the country. And so the question is now, how do we continue to evolve the efforts around racial justice? So we are looking at and continuing to evaluate exactly how we discharge the mission that we have of eliminating racism.
They have created a very inclusive environment for women and for women of color, African Americans and Latinas. So I think that, their support of me and my career and of my business since 1999 has been tremendous for me, because I've learned a lot, not only about women's empowerment, I've learned about racial justice. I've learned about a lot of things that are really important for women.
I think that the area of racism is something that the country's still struggling with, right? And so the need for the mission has not gone away. So it's just this question about how can we find a piece of that mission that uniquely suits the YWCA.
The reality of it is, for us to do any of the work we do, it requires investment, and we want more people to invest in the work that we need to do around racial justice. We see the impact happening in society every single day. So the fact of the matter is that we really need people to really focus and want to do this work and provide the resources for us to do this work as well.
I am very proud to be associated with the YWCA. This is the organization in the Chicago area that reaches so broadly throughout Chicago and throughout the suburbs of Chicago in order to directly empower women and impact their lives in a very strong way.
I think at 140 years, the YW should really be congratulated for maintaining a presence in the community, providing services that continue to be needed, and being able to make the shift to continue to meet needs of women who are still not in an equal position with men.
As excited as I am to celebrate the fact that the YWCA has been around 140 years, it's kind of disappointing to know that we still need these services as we embark upon the 100th anniversary of this women's suffrage movement, that we're still talking about the same issue. But what's critical is that the YWCA is such an important part of being able to make sure that we accelerate the progress that we're making as women, and to make sure that for as long as these issues are there, that we'll be there.